Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. This is Charity with you with Exceed. And today I have Angela Boothby. Angela, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to share resources with our teachers. So let's get to there. Okay, all you have to do, everyone, is go on the search bar and put Adventist, type Adventist Agriculture Association. And then should we just go straight to Resource Center or?
Yeah, you can go there.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
one way to go. You can
Okay.
also simply type in Acquainting Agriculture, but this works too because as you can see, it's right there, the first link at the top. Acquainting Agriculture.
Okay, you said it's at the top, and I somehow
So
missed.
like just look Resource Center, and then you'll see
okay.
agricultural curriculum.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask you, because I don't see Acquainting Agriculture until after I click into this, right?
Yeah. Yep. Sorry. So
okay.
You click on that, and then you'll have to scroll down.
Okay.
And then click here to learn more.
Okay.
So we are funded and run by the Adventist Agriculture Association. So it's wonderful to lead people there because it's a great resource of tons of other things for agricultural programs. But if you specifically just want to jump to our website, it's just acquaintingagriculture.org.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, so it has its own domain. Okay.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Now, wait, before we go here, I noticed that there's 3 logos here. And Planting with Jesus, God in the Garden, Grow to Know Him. So what are the difference?
Yeah, I'll show you actually on our website. It's probably a prettier way to show it. So go to the top again, scroll to the top.
Okay.
And click on curriculum.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And then click on, we'll start with the high school.
All right, high school.
So the high school version is called Grow to Know Him. And if you scroll down.
Grow to Know Him.
Yep, so there's our logo, the Grow to Know Him, about the program. And then down at the bottom shows you our table of contents, because our high school curriculum can last a year, 2 semesters worth, or if you just want to do 1 semester, your school only does 1 semester of gardening. The first semester is all inclusive, from picking your plot of land to saving seeds. So, and the second semester is a bunch of bonus things. If you want to go to a market farm, if you want to start talking about bees and other things that are all awesome lessons, but it can just fit into a semester if that's all your school calendar will give you. And then if you click on the next one, it gives you sample lesson pages of an actual lesson.
Here's an example of nature's contribution this morning. We have fresh squeezed orange juice with passion fruit.
Very nice.
I wish I could share this with you. Thank you, Anna.
You're getting your vitamin C. I'm getting my vitamin D and my vitamin N by hanging out in my hammock.
That's awesome.
So we're getting all the vitamins covered.
Okay, so yeah, you definitely can do this throughout the year. That's 30 lessons. Wow.
Yep, that way we made it so it could be a whole year program for schools that are willing and able to commit to a year long of gardening. And if they're just able to commit to a semester, then we've designed it where it can be all inclusive for because I know one of the schools that I taught at, they just did a semester of gardening. And so we wanted to make it versatile for both. So keep clicking, click on the next one. After the table of contents, you'll see a sample lesson plan. And so this one is all about pest control. So we have the objectives at the top, basic and advanced, and then always a spiritual lessons. Our teacher's guide is something I'll show you later, but our student guides are all going to be printed on waterproof paper. They're journals, so the kids can be interacting with it, and it becomes their story and their journey through the garden, connecting to God, grow to know Him, the whole point of our curriculum. And so it's printed on waterproof paper so they can take it right into the garden, and there's lots of spaces for notes and all of that fun thing. And then you can click next.
Let's see here. There we go.
Yep. Awesome. And so then there's always the science lesson. I think that's still part of the spiritual lesson. So go ahead and click the next one. Yeah, so there's always discussion questions to help lead the kids into a more spiritual connection with what we're trying to teach them about God through the garden from, for example, pest control. And then in the teacher's guide along the sidebars, because the student book is inlet in the middle of the teacher's guide, but on the sidebars, there's more discussion questions if you want to take it spiritually further with them. So we like to give you lots of ideas to help foster great conversations or great journaling prompts, or however you choose to use it. Okay, so then the next thing you have is the practical science lesson. Let's understand pests. Let's understand how they can be detrimental to your garden and how you can handle them. So you can click quickly through the next couple of pages.
Okay.
So all about pests, and then all of the illustrations are hand drawn by Anna Perea, our high school writer. Beautifully done.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, very talented. So she'll also be doing the illustrations for our middle school and elementary curriculum.
Oh, so you're saying that what's complete now is the high school?
Yep. The high school has been for sale since May.
Okay.
And that is what is available currently. We have piloters doing the middle school and elementary edition for us this school year. And then we'll be selling our middle school and elementary edition next May, 2022. So there's always a health component too of all of our lessons. There's your spiritual, your science component, and your health lesson. So trying to bring in that right hand of the gospel, showing how God has given us wonderful ways to build our immune system and to give us the best physical health possible. So there's always a health component as well, as you can see in the health lesson. And then if you click the next one, there's always the actual activities of getting out there in the garden and doing what you need to do to run a successful agricultural program at your school. So another thing too is this is a garden program designed to be during an academic school year. So that means it is designed to be winter gardening, because your grow season that most people are used to is planting in the spring and harvesting in the fall. Well, that doesn't really work for a teacher, because what teacher wants to dedicate a whole summer to their garden program? And so our program is designed for the winter, which means that you are planting in the fall and you have to have some kind of row coverage. Either a hoop house, a greenhouse, or you can just do row coverage, depending on the size that you want to do and where you are in the different climate zones across the US of A. But so you're going to be growing mainly things like greens, because you're looking for winter hardy crops. Radishes will work. Carrots actually sweeten up and taste really good after your first frost. So if you get carrots in the ground early, you can enjoy fresh carrots, depending on when your first frost is, November, October, December. So yeah, there is our high school curriculum. And then if you want to go back up to curriculum, you can go to middle school.
Okay, let me see here. I'm in large. When I make it larger, I kind of lose where I'm at here.
Yeah, of course. No problem.
Okay, middle school. Cool. Okay.
So middle school is grades 5 through 8, God in the Garden. And our high school curriculum is designed in such a way that every child that goes through the program, every high schooler, we want them to be competent, confident, self-sustaining gardeners, and the fact that they have the ability to grow. And so they will leave with their manual, which is their notebook, and be able to grow anywhere. But our middle school and elementary focus is actually more family ministry, where we want to do winter gardening. But at the beginning of the summer, at the end of the school year, each child will be going home with a tray full of starters. So you will harvest greens with your student children, and we have recipes to be doing some cooking in your schools with your greens. But then you will be starting the fun things that kids think are more fun, your tomatoes and your watermelon or zucchini starters. And you'll be sending home your students with a tray full of starters, and they'll be gardening as a family that summer. And then at the end of summer, at the beginning of the school year, you will have a harvest party, and kids get to bring their produce that they've grown as a family back to school and have a wonderful, good old-fashioned school church picnic, right? So grow to know him. If you scroll back down, You'll see there are sample lesson plans down there as well. With the
I was
table
looking for that. Yeah, cool.
So there's our table of contents, less lessons, because we understand that in elementary school, middle school, you have busy calendars. You have a Christmas program that you have to get ready for. So there's only 28 lessons, 14 lessons a semester. That way you can also, we really want you to take a couple field trips and go to farmers market or go see other farms that are growing produce. And so we don't try to make it heavy. Also, I probably should say too, that this curriculum is designed to be one lesson per week. So it shouldn't be that daunting to add to an already, overfilled calendar and overfilled daily schedule of all these different things that you're expected to meet. It's only a lesson a week. So you could do the spiritual lesson on Monday, get out in the garden a little bit on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then do the whole science thing on Thursday or Friday. You decide how you want to spread out. But as you can see, it's not tons of material to overload already full. The main point of our curriculum is to get you out. So our student workbooks, which these are more sample lessons of what a teacher's going to see. We're making it a lot more interactive for the student workbooks. And so we are making sure that for the most part, your students are truly outside. But as you can see, this is a lesson about pest control again, but we call it bugs, or good bugs and bad bugs. So we brought it down a level for our 5th through 8th graders. And as you can see, once again, the beautiful illustrations that Anna has done such an awesome job of drawing. But yeah, just keep going through it. We always have the spiritual lesson. We always have the science component. We always have the health component. And then we also include some stories now with the 5th through 8th grade level to help them relate to it as well. So you see there's Gavin's garden.
Cool. It's really environmental friend. I mean, it even talks about the environment, not just gardening.
Yeah. And so we thought that we are going to take some time to look at some different standards. The thing is, plant science in the Adventist curriculum is very small compared to all the other things they cover. So just to say, hey, you could do this instead of life science isn't going to work. But it does cover different things that are brought up in life science, but it couldn't be replacing life science. But it does definitely cover, we're going to put your standards in the teacher's edition. So you see how many different standards you're covering. But it really is, to be honest, something we're not trying to replace anything. And that's kind of intimidating to say we're adding to an already full load, but we believe that the payout is well worth it.
And it really helps teachers in the classroom to not have to reinvent something they know how to do, but they just don't have time to put it together. And so once again, it's on waterproof paper, so our kids can take the journals directly into the garden, because we always want them to be interacting outside as much as possible. So go back up to the top again to curriculum, and we'll check out the elementary level. This is Planting with Jesus. And what we're going to do for the kindergarten is we're just going to blow up some of Anna's illustrations and just make a coloring book, because we really want it not to be about the pencil and the paper, but just getting outside. But for those teachers who are teaching K through 4, they have something for their kids to be working on outside. And I should also say that our journals will be different. So the teacher's edition will look the same, but we're doing year A, year B, because if you've taught in the Adventist schools, you know that you have cycles, thank you. And so year A and year B, which means that, for example, Billy comes to your school in 1st grade. He's going to hear Planting with Jesus, year A in 1st grade, and he's going to be in the 1st and 2nd grade journal. So the 1st and 2nd grades will have the same journal. And then year B, he is now in 2nd grade. He hears Planting with Jesus, year B is completely different. And then he has a new journal because he's now in 2nd grade in year B. But then in year 3, 3rd grade, he's got Planting with Jesus A again that he heard in 1st grade, but he's got a completely different journal because there's a 3rd and 4th grade level journal, right? So every other year they're switching, but they hear the curriculum twice, but they get different journals, and they're also in completely different listening levels and application levels in 1st and 3rd grade, 2nd and 4th,
And we do that with our middle schools as well. So a fifth grader is going to hear information differently than a seventh grader, and a sixth grader is going to hear it different than an eighth grader. So we're trying to make this as multi-grade friendly as possible. So, Billy started doing acquainting agriculture when he was in kindergarten, and he's not sick and tired of it by the time he gets to high school and does grow to know him. When we're really pushing them, I mean, there is some advanced gardening techniques and applications in the high school level, but it's not like he's gonna be like, oh, this is just old hat, because we've been switching it on them every year.
Yeah, that's great. That's great that happens.
So Planting with Jesus, you can go back down there, to the bottom, and we will go through. There is our table of contents again, even less lessons, because we do understand that you're busy, and there's no reason that you can't make some lessons last 2 weeks. And you might be doing slightly different things in the garden. You might have to move really fast. For example, we live up in Michigan, and we're going to have to do some things faster than can be taught in the classroom. But you can go back in the winter in the quieter months and go back and explain what you were doing. But there's just things that have to happen in the garden at different time periods. So these lessons don't necessarily have to build upon each other. You can mix and do them as you are working. And we've had different schools who've piloted who have kind of jumped around a little bit. But as you can see, there's only 24 lessons. So you're just doing 12 lessons a semester, which would hopefully not be that intimidating for a teacher to pick up, just adding 12 lessons to a semester to get their kids outside. Yeah. And if you just want to click through the curriculum, we always have that spiritual component, the science component, and the health component. Nice. And this is an example of a 3rd and 4th grade journal.
Oh, she's great. The artist is really talented.
I know. Anna is fantastic, very fantastic. And she listened to hundreds and hundreds of hours of all of Adventist Agricultural Association, all the farmers that have shared breakouts over the years, and compiled all that information and put it into a book that we can understand. But the high school edition is truly an incredible wealth of information. Wow. It's basically taking 8 years or 7 years, I guess it'd be 7 years of conferences and putting it into a book for you to read and understand.
Yeah.
So once again, this is an example of that pest control lesson, but you're down a level again from the middle school. So instead of good bugs, bad bugs, you just made animals. So we're going to go out and look for evidence of different animals in our garden. How can you tell what kind of creatures have been in there? And you want to see that there's some life besides just plants in your garden. It's not necessarily bad to have other animals and creatures in there. So yeah, if you want to zoom out again and scroll back to the top, I'll help you navigate through the rest of our website. Okay, so home is just simply explaining our mission, our vision for the curriculum. There's a couple videos on there introducing why we're doing it, that people can watch at their leisure. So there's our mission statement. There's our promo video. If you're trying to get it started at your church, you could just show that video as a launch, as you're getting your church on board. It really is it's a church project, and the fact that you're going to have to raise some extra funds, on the size of garden that you want to start. About us is just meet the team, if you want to click that. So Melissa Clayton if you're looking at the screen on your right, looking at the screen on your left, I'm sorry. She is our middle school elementary writer. Fantastic. Then I'm the market director and the organizer kind of behind everything. And then Anna is our high school writer and our illustrator. So nice. Pretty awesome team to be a part of. Yeah, they both have 2 boys. Ironically, they both have a Noah.
Wow. Noah, of all the names.
Yeah, they both have a Noah, and it's actually both of their youngest. Melissa's Noah is 2, and Anna's Noah, I think he's 8. And they're homeschooling. They're both homeschooling. Well, Melissa really hasn't started because her boys are 2 and 4, but.
That's funny. Okay, then we went through curriculum.
Yep. And so before I get to the getting started, if you want to support or donate, because we are trying to raise money to pay our writers and to print more copies. That's the support page. Shop is for sale. Yep. And there's like donor video down under support, so you can see what that's all about. And so we thank you in advance for any contributions that anybody is able to make. And then shop, if you want to click on the shop. Our high school curriculum is for sale for $200, and that includes this great package deal. It includes the teacher's edition. It includes the high school student field guide and a year subscription to Born to Grow, which in our high school, our teacher's edition on the sidebars, there are QR codes with videos to watch for every lesson. So if you're not quite sure how to set up a drip line, or you have no idea how to, set the size of your row beds, there is a video for you to watch. So QR codes match all of our teacher lessons, so you can have some practical guidance. And then if you want to buy it separately, you can, but I would suggest that Born to Grow subscription makes it well worth it.
Yeah.
And you need to order each additional, like if you have, 17 high schoolers that are doing it. That's the Born to Grow subscription. Fantastic resource, great videos. He'll be sending you all sorts of awesome things that will be very helpful as you start your journey.
So wait, can people just get this one without the curriculum guide, or they have to get this with?
No, definitely. Paul Dysinger is the one who runs Born to Grow, and he has been doing it for anybody to become a master gardener.
Where's the price, the list for the subscription for this? I don't see it.
I don't actually know, because he's giving us a deal for our teachers. So
okay.
He told me the price when we all sat down and we hashed out a plan to make it affordable for our teachers. And so he told us the price back then. And I know he's giving our teachers a fantastic deal, but I can't really remember what his original price is.
Well, it's okay. I'll just do the email thing and see. Wow, this is great. I mean, I can tell you 4 years with Exceed, a lot of teachers do agriculture and gardening as their STEM project. So PBL project. So this is definitely, I know over a dozen of schools and teachers that can use this for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Praise God. And I would suggest, even if, because the middle school and elementary is not available, and we already have our piloters set, so I can't accept any more piloters, but I would definitely suggest, if anybody's interested, that they just take on the high school curriculum and bring the kids along, and don't worry about them having workbooks, because the high school curriculum is so in-depth and so helpful that you will become so much more knowledgeable, that when the middle school and elementary stuff come out, you're not intimidated at all, because you have an incredible understanding with the high school curriculum. And a $200 investment is really not that much, it's a great price for how much you're getting, to be honest.
Yeah, so true. How when, say for example, they get this, and is it a PDF or you send a packet? We'll send you the book. We'll send you the book, because we don't want you to be on your computer. We want you to be outside. So for right now, we're sticking with the carbon paper copy, but someday we'll probably move into more online, because we do want to expand and get this resource out to many countries. And we're getting asked from other countries and trying to figure out shipping and all that kind of thing. But at this point, we're just trying to get people off their devices. So we don't really want to do PDFs right now. Yeah, no, this is great. I know that I mentioned this to you before. I wonder what, like if say the Adventist high school teacher in Vanuatu or Fiji got this packet, and how would he modify it, with what he has to work with in his garden and that type of thing.
So, I mean, obviously there's just not one way to garden, and we have the climate zone set up in the US, so you can easily figure out how you can grow in the US. And some of those climate zones apply in Europe or all around the globe. But Europe, I say, is more comparable because they have the resources available to them similar as America. But places in Africa, obviously, they're not going to have zip lines or all those different things. They're going to have very different resources available. So eventually what we're hoping and praying for is different people will rise up from different countries and do it and modify it. And then we can hopefully, pay them a small amount to help us then make a Vanuatu edition or a South American edition, and get it translated into Spanish, a Chad version or a Kenyan version. Is definitely awesome in our long-term planning. But we want to make sure that we really have a local to help us because obviously they're going to be more familiar with what's available to them.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you for speaking to that. I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much, Angela. This is a lot for teachers and educators to digest because, as we know, almost all teachers like working in the garden or because kids like being outside, but whether their challenge is lack of space, well, then they can do starters in the classroom. There's variations of how teachers and educators can use this content.
And our middle school and elementary, our high school is pretty set with like expectations of a hoop house or a greenhouse, but our middle school and elementary were coming up with options. So like things to how to grow in the classroom or how to grow in your garden beds right outside the front of the school, or to do a small little group of raised beds. Because obviously not all of our schools are blessed with property to fit a hoop house or a greenhouse on it. If I can just show you one more thing, go back up to the getting started link. So let's say you just bought the curriculum and now what do? Well, we have a helpful little video that gives you help as well. But if you scroll down, first of all, of course, you order what you need, 1 teacher's guide and maybe 17 student field guides. Order your growing supplies. And then we have a link right there, see basic list, click there. And based on the size that you're able to pull off for how much finances you're able to raise, we have extra small, medium, or large garden. And we have exactly what you need, all the tools and all the links to get seeds or to get row tunnels or a hoop house, to get a broad fork, maybe things you've never heard of. And you're looking at, if you scroll down to the bottom, if you're getting every single thing, which you don't necessarily need everything on there, we just want you to have everything you possibly like to do it the best ever. So you're not missing any holes. You're talking about raising $6,000 for an extra small and up to a little over $12,000 for a large garden, which is 2 hoop houses. So it's all very reasonable if you have a year to fundraise. It's pretty hard to pull this off, next May. So I'd encourage anybody that's listening or watching, if you have any interest, start informing, start educating your churches, start maybe having a chart in your church where they can watch the red thermometer grow as they're headed for the $6,000 or for the $12,000. And it's really not that big of an amount to raise. And we literally have links and directions to buy everything you possibly could need to be very successful.
Oh, awesome. That's so great. I really appreciate that, because if I were to tell you that I would say when we were face-to-face, when the Exceed conference was face-to-face, as I mentioned before, a lot of teachers would go towards gardening and agriculture as their project unit, which is fine. It's great. But they just didn't have a guide. And so if you guys were around 3-4 years ago, they would have implemented this program with their grant proposal because it's already there for them. This is great.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to show you, if you go back and exit out of this, is simply also the other thing. You don't need to click on it, but it says read about recommended winter crops. So there's a calendar there that shows you have to plant at a certain distance from the last 10-hour day you're going to have. But we explain that to you. You get sent, as soon as you buy the curriculum, you get the first 8 pages of our curriculum sent as a PDF right away. So you can see there's a calendar of things that you need to do. There's certain things you have to order by certain dates. There's the explanations. There's the QR codes. You can start watching the videos. And so it's all right there for you to figure out when, because a lot of people don't know what even winter gardening means or looks like. And so we're trying to make it very easy. And then just scroll down. As you can see, we have a little bit of start. Yep, go ahead, keep going. Yearly plan. So you see there's July, what's expected that you need to do. And this is just when you're first setting it up. You have to do quite a bit. But then later on, you don't need to be working in July. But when you're first pulling this off, you do need to start, because you're going to be toiling, like, you know, we're just starting with a green piece of land. Well, you need to till up your soil. You need to do some soil testing. You need to do amendments and all of those kind of things. And then as you can see in August, if you scroll back down, it gets the load gets much later, but we have a calendar plan, so you can easily, there's check boxes and you can check off and make sure every month that you are understanding the big picture and not getting caught in all the little details.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think we thought of everything. Well, but we certainly are trying.
Yeah, especially for the classroom teacher. I mean, this is rich. I remember when I first came across the website, it was when y'all had the convention. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there was just some teasers and I was like, wait, I have to get back to this because I have to see what they're doing. And then the next time I checked again, and that's when I saw everything. I was like, whoa, this is awesome.
Yeah, we met in Texas, the 3 of us, and got a lot done. And then we really exploded when we met again in April. And we're very excited. And then we're each working on our pieces.
Okay, well, Angela, thank you so much.